What in the world just happened? Ladies and gentlemen, I am absolutely furious because what went down at WWE WrestlePalooza last night was not just shocking, it was vile, it was disgusting, and it was without question one of the most calculated betrayals in the entire history of professional wrestling. Paul Heyman, the man who for months pretended to be loyal, the man who stood beside Seth Rollins and promised to guide him as his advocate, turned around and stabbed him in the back with the coldest and most ruthless betrayal imaginable. And what makes this even worse than the act itself is the satisfaction Heyman took in doing it. The look on his face, that smug grin, the gleam in his eye when he handed Brock Lesnar a steel chair and watched him obliterate Seth Rollins like he was a nobody, like he was disposable, was pure evil. This wasn't just betrayal, this was premeditated destruction months in the making. Heyman played the long game, acting like Seth's confidant, pretending to be family, while secretly orchestrating a Judas-level backstab that will go down as one of the darkest moments in WWE history. The betrayal didn't happen in some meaningless match. No, this took place during the main event of WrestlePalooza, one of the biggest stages of the year. Seth Rollins was defending his World Heavyweight Championship against Drew McIntyre in what was being built up as a classic. Two of the very best going toe-to-toe, the kind of showdown that fans live for. Seth was ready. He looked like a champion. He carried himself like the top guy he is. And Paul Heyman was right there at ringside, playing the role of the trusted strategist. For nearly 25 minutes, the match was everything it promised to be. Technical brilliance, non-stop intensity, near falls that had the entire arena on its feet. The atmosphere was perfect. And yet, lurking under the surface, Paul Heyman already had his deal with the devil sealed. It all came crashing down in one devastating moment. Seth had Drew McIntyre lined up for the stomp, victory within reach, the championship nearly secured. And then the arena was rocked by the sound of Brock Lesnar's music. The beast incarnate stormed down the ramp, looking like a predator unleashed, destruction in his eyes. Any normal human being in Heyman's position would have looked horrified, confused, ready to protect his client. But not Paul Heyman. Instead, that twisted smile spread across his face. He knew exactly what was coming. Brock slid into the ring, threw Drew McIntyre out like he was a rag doll, and zeroed in on Seth Rollins. Seth turned to Paul, looking for help, guidance, anything. And in that moment of vulnerability, Paul Heyman did the unthinkable. He pulled a steel chair from under the ring, not to defend Seth, but to hand it over to Brock Lesnar. That moment of realization on Seth's face, the heartbreak, the betrayal, the look of a man who had just been destroyed not by an opponent, but by the one person he trusted most, was burned into the memory of every fan watching. The beating that followed was brutal. Each chair shot echoing through the arena like a gunshot. Every strike didn't just destroy Seth physically, it shattered his spirit. And then, as if the physical carnage wasn't enough, Paul Heyman grabbed a microphone and twisted the knife even deeper. He declared Seth was nothing more than a placeholder champion, a man keeping the belt warm for the true king, Brock Lesnar. He admitted that every second by Seth's side was agony. Every cheer for Seth made him sick, and that being back with Brock felt like coming home. He revealed the ultimate betrayal, that he had been feeding Brock Rollins' secrets, strategies, and insecurities for months. This wasn't just business, it was personal, vindictive, and venomous. The fallout was even more disgusting when part of the crowd actually cheered. Yes, some fans celebrated this as brilliant storytelling, failing to recognize the deeper meaning of what just happened. This wasn't a clever twist. This was the annihilation of trust, loyalty, and decency. And Heyman had the audacity to defend it afterward, saying it was just business, just smart strategy, just aligning with the strongest competitor. But let's call it what it really is. Moral bankruptcy at its ugliest, and the timing, at WrestlePalooza, on one of WWE's biggest stages, makes it sting even more. Heyman didn't just betray Seth, he humiliated him in front of the entire world. Seth Rollins wasn't just beaten down physically, he was broken psychologically. His reign was built on trust in Heyman, trust that turned out to be the very weapon used against him. Every private conversation, Every moment of strategy, every piece of advice Heyman gave was just part of a sinister plan to hand Rollins' weaknesses to Brock Lesnar. It wasn't loyalty. It was espionage. This betrayal doesn't just affect Seth. It shakes the very foundation of trust across WWE. Every manager-wrestler partnership now feels poisoned. After what Paul did, how can any superstar trust their advocate, their strategist, their so-called friend? Heyman has set a precedent that betrayal isn't just possible, it's inevitable. He's proven loyalty has an expiration date, and it always ends the moment something better comes along. And what about Seth Rollins now? How does a man come back from this? He's been destroyed in every way possible. Physically, he's broken. Emotionally, he's shattered. Psychologically, he's scarred. Moving forward, Seth will likely be paranoid, isolated, unwilling to trust again. And that's exactly what Heyman wanted. To break Seth not just in body, but in spirit. Pairing Heyman and Lesnar back together is terrifying. Brock's brute force combined with Heyman's manipulative genius is a nightmare for the entire WWE roster. And make no mistake, this wasn't spur of the moment. This was months of planning, waiting for the right stage, the right time, the perfect opportunity to humiliate Rollins. Heyman's timing was flawless, his betrayal executed with theatrical precision, like only a man who's been manipulating the wrestling world for decades could pull off. And yet, here's the ugliest part. Heyman shows no remorse, no regret, no empathy for the man who trusted him with everything. In interviews, he smirks, he brags, he justifies his actions as business. This isn't business. This is betrayal in its purest, most vile form. It's a reminder of just how dangerous ambition can be when it strips away loyalty, friendship, and humanity. Now we face the reality. Paul Heyman has shown his true colors. He has proven his word means nothing, his loyalty is temporary, and his friendship is fake. He's revealed himself as a man who values power and success over every shred of human decency. And the fact that some fans are praising him for this makes the entire situation even more disturbing. This wasn't entertainment. This wasn't brilliance. This was the destruction of everything sacred about trust and loyalty in wrestling. The betrayal of Seth Rollins at WrestlePalooza will go down as one of the darkest days in WWE history. And Paul Heyman will forever be remembered as the architect of one of the most ruthless and unforgivable acts ever witnessed in the squared circle. The trust is broken, the damage is permanent, and the message is clear. No one, absolutely no one, can ever trust Paul Heyman again.